Question 9, consider the equation 2x minus 4y equals negative 10. That appears to be written in standard form. And the question is, what is the slope of this line? Well, we have a form of an equation that makes it very easy to read the slope. It's the slope-intercept form. And it looks like y equals mx plus b. Again, there are two variables in this, right? Our variables are x and y, and there's two parameters. And once we lock in those parameters, it's a particular line. Our two parameters are slope, the slope parameter, and then the y-intercept. So I'm going to just take this equation that I'm given and I'm going to rewrite it in that form. So to do that, I just need to solve it for y. So I'll take this equation as given, 2x minus 4y equals negative 10, and I'm going to take away 2x from both sides. So 4y will now equal negative 2x minus 10. And then finally, to get rid of this negative 4, I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1/4. And I think I'll even write this out this time. I'll go negative 1/4. So I'm just going to push this factor of negative 1/4 across the entire equation. When I get a factor of negative 1/4 on the left-hand side, negative 1/4 times 4 equals 1. So I have just 1y. On the other side, I have negative 1/4 times negative 2. So I know it's going to become positive. I can write it as 2/4, and 2/4 of course reduces to 1/2. So I'll write 1/2. So negative 1/4 times negative 2 is positive 1/2, and then x. And then I've got negative 1/4, and I'm going to multiply that times a negative 10, which is going to give me a negative 10 over negative 4, which is just going to be positive 10/4, which is positive 5/2. That's not bad. So plus 5/2. So this is the same equation, right? In fact, if I was to graph both of those, I could graph both of those directly in GeoGebra or Desmos. If I was to graph both of those, I would see the same line. But the benefit of this form of the equation is I can very easily see what my slope parameter is, right? The slope of this line is positive 1/2. So what is the slope of this line? Oh, the slope is 1/2. That's the slope, because that's what the slope parameter is. And then finally, what is the slope of a line that would be perpendicular to this line, the original line? Okay, well, again, whenever we have a line on the Cartesian coordinate plane and I rotate the entire plane 90 degrees about the origin, my slope and my rise and my run switch places, and the sign becomes the opposite of what it was. So the slope of any line that would be perpendicular to a line with a slope of 1/2, that line, the slope would have to be the opposite in sign, so it would have to be negative, not positive. And instead of being 1/2, it would have to be 2/1, or I could just simply say negative 2. So the slope of any line that's perpendicular to this line, right, would have a slope of negative 2. So that's question number 9.